All right. Well, I was just blabbing. So we'll go ahead and get started now, and I'll just cut that part of me talking with no sound off. Um, Welcome to today's live. I am doing more live videos. I was talking to myself and explaining because for those that watch me a lot or follow me on Instagram, in my stories, my dad's in the hospital. So he's in another state. So I've been going back and forth. In fact, I'm getting all these texts. He's still in the hospital. My sister's there now and sending all these texts across my screen. And we've moved and we're in a temporary home in Tennessee, but we still are looking for a place to live. So there's just so many changes, and a typical video that I would actually film like I'm making this live. I just film it talking in front of the camera, and then I cut it all up and change things, cut out all kinds of things so I can get it down to maybe a 20-minute video. But that takes a lot of time, and I just don't have that time. So we'll just test these lives and see how people what people think. Okay, so we've got quite a few people here. Susan, Michelle, Deborah, Ellie, Linda, Tina. So hello, everyone. I am monitoring my chats a little bit. Today's video, I'm going to try and make it not quite so long as my last live, but it is a makeup facelift video, or how to look younger with makeup video. And what I want to do is try all of those techniques that you see on YouTube and see if it really makes a difference. I am going to be doing it as a split face. Unlike most of the makeup videos, my goal is not to make one side with this really heavy black eyeliner and really, terrible looking blush like nobody really wears. Um, it's actually just to see if these tips and techniques make a difference when you're doing your regular makeup, like regular people would use them. So it's not going to be this full face of glam makeup. It's not going to be this makeover like if you went to had a makeup professional doing your makeup for a wedding or something like that, where you really can change up a lot with makeup. This is just going to be, do these techniques make a difference in day-to-day makeup? So that's what we're going to be doing today. Oh, you can't hear me again? Oh, can people hear me, or can they not hear me? Can somebody give me a heads up? Hi from South Texas. I got it. Okay. Okay, good. Okay. All right. So I am going to pull my bangs from my forehead for this, even though my longtime viewers know I don't like pulling my bangs from my forehead because they never go back down. But this is what we're going to do. So even though we're going to be doing a split face, I know it's kind of hard to see if things lift and whatever because, I have an eye that droops a little bit more. My face isn't symmetrical, so it'll be a little subjective on whether or not one technique seems to be working better or not. But we will go ahead and get started. I'm not going to talk about the things like drink lots of water, use sunscreen, avoid prolonged sun exposure, and all those things that we need to do or should be doing to have your skin look healthy and stay younger looking. But the first step is going to be to hydrate the skin. Now, typically, I do all my skincare in the morning, like I've done now, that I did after I got out of the shower. And I usually don't put makeup on unless I'm going to leave the house. So it might be several hours later. And normally, because my skin doesn't feel overly dry, my baseline is I have normal, leaning slightly dry skin, but mostly normal skin. And so then I would just start putting on my makeup like this. But it really is important, and I know it's important, to hydrate your skin first. And so that's what I'm going to do today. Now, I am using this. I bought this Charlotte Tilbury Glow Toner. I'm not a real big toner person, but I do want to get my skin nicely hydrated. So I'm going to do the right techniques on this side and then just kind of do regular techniques on this side. So I am going to put this toner on because it is important to give your skin some liquid like a sponge, to have it plump up before you start putting on your makeup. So I'm going to put the toner on, and then I'm going to put my moisturizer on top of it. I'm also going to be using Charlotte Tilbury. Charlotte Tilbury is florally fragrance. I love the fragrance. It's a rose-based fragrance. So this is her magic cream, and I'm going to put it on pretty thick. Again, kind of leaving it so it can plump things up. And I'm going to put it under my eyes, around my eyes, because I want that area well hydrated. Around my lips, especially right at my lip line. And then I'm just going to kind of let it sit and absorb down. Now, if it really was a special occasion or I had a lot of time, I would put an eye patch on. These are the dermatology eye patches. Oh, this is a new one. I must have used up all my old ones. But, it's these type eye patches that you can put under your eyes, and they really do plump up under the eyes. And it's not just the dermatology, any of these eye patches, if you leave them on for 10 or 15 minutes, that does help. If you do have that special occasion, the wedding or anything like that, it really does help plump up the eyes so your concealer and foundation and everything looks really nice and doesn't look dry or crinkly underneath the eyes. But I'm just going to do it with this hydration like this, and I'm leaving this one alone because I guess I'm going to have to wash my face anyway, but I am going to put on my sunscreen. If I'm sitting around or not going to be outside, I don't always wear sunscreen. I know people have different feelings on that, but I always wear it when I know I'm going outside, when I'm working in the garden, when I know I'm going to be outdoors, and that is the case today. So I'm going to put it on this side, and this sunscreen has a dual purpose. This is the Dermatology Tinted Moisturizer, old packaging, but it has a little bit of a glow on it. So it's also going to give that healthy glow underneath the foundation. And I'm going to let this sit in for just a minute too. So the really important thing when you're layering your moisturizers and your sunscreens, you need to let them sit. You need to let them fully absorb before you start trying to put foundation or anything else on top, because that can make it pill and fall off or anything. Okay, I'm just looking to make sure that everyone can hear me still. Okay, so hydrate your skin. That's really important. I mean, I think you can just tell right away. It definitely looks younger, more vibrant, when you have a healthy glow. And this side definitely looks better than this side. But I think overall I have fairly decent skin, just a lot of hyperpigmentation. The next step for looking younger or more youthful is to whiten the eyes. Again, this isn't something I do all the time, but I love, this looks so old, my Lumify drops. Obviously, if you do drops for your eyes or things like that, you want to ask your doctor. My optometrist recommends this. In fact, she's the one that first introduced me to Lumify. So I'm just going to put it one drop in because it's really going to whiten and brighten the eyes. If you have eyes with a lot of red in them, I don't have to tell you that, having the red eyes makes you look tired. It can make you look older. And the drops, not only does it help if you have like the red veins, but it helps clear the red on your rim, which sometimes I think that also can make you look really tired, is when your waterline is pink and red. So you can see, I don't know if you can see already, but it works really fast. In just a few minutes, it's going to make that waterline a lot brighter. Like I can see it here. I don't know if you can see it there. Do I use a primer before my base or foundation? Day to day, I don't, but if I want it to last all day, I do. Lately, I've been using this dermatology one. Another favorite of mine is the Elf. The Elf Power Grip is my like. I'm going out to something fancy, or whatever reason. I just need my makeup to really stick, and I really like the Elf Power Grip. I just ordered today. In fact, they have a new Power Grip with niacinamide. So we'll see. I did order that. So, um, but day to day, typically my moisturizer is my primer. Okay, so I think it's absorbed enough. Got the whiter eyes. Oh, I bought a new mirror. For those that saw me break my mirror a couple weeks ago, I just got this in from Amazon. All right, the first thing that I think really helps, whether you like to have a lot of foundation, whether you don't like to wear makeup, but to make you look more youthful, is to even out the skin tone. Because a couple of things happen as we age. If you're dark skinned like I am, I get all the dots, right? I get the melasma, the hyperpigmentation. So I get very uneven skin now as I age. My fair skinned friends, I'm so jealous. I look at their skin. I mean, they do have maybe one or two age spots, bigger spots, but their skin is a lot more even here. However, a lot of them have the redness, which I have sunburn nose, but I don't necessarily have the broken capillaries. So they get a lot of redness here, redness on their eyes, around their eyes, and the dark circles. So I don't have that problem, but I think no matter which problem you have, evening out the skin tone is probably one of the things that you can do to give a more youthful appearance immediately. Okay, so Peg, she's got the special event that she needs to wear makeup. Yeah, usually people laugh that um, I have a makeup channel because I really don't wear a lot of makeup either day to day, but I do love makeup. Okay, so to even the skin tone, a couple of things you can do. I'm going to grab my Jouer concealer. If you only have that single age spot, one or two age spots, you can just dot on your concealer and blend it in to kind of even out the skin tone. And you would want the concealer to match your skin tone. You don't want to lighten the dots because if you try and use a concealer that's too light, it tends to look ashy. The brown can come through. So you're better off. Sometimes I even say you're better off to go a slightly shade or match your dot, go a little bit darker and kind of blend it out. And then when you go over with some foundation or tinted moisturizer, it helps remove the dot. But I am going to use my Jouer concealer. This is, I find this one on Amazon or maybe Amazon and Walmart with the most shades, but I've got a lot of dots. So I'm just going to put it on my biggest dots. And note, this is not a super light color. This is one that matches, might be slightly darker. And I'm just going to dab it in. You could use a sponge. Sometimes I just use my finger like this. But today I'm using a brush too. So if you have the broken capillaries around your nose, just doing that dot around your nose, and those areas can really help. Now, if you have really dark circles under your eye, you want to try and color correct first because concealer around your eyes can get cakey, when you put it on too heavy. So people really want to lighten up those dark circles or the discoloration in their eyes. And so they're using their concealers and foundations to try and do it. But then it can move and shift and again look cakey. So I highly recommend a color corrector. Now, this Beauty Pie is called like Eye Genius, and they have a light medium, and mine's the medium deep. I love this stuff, and I know my friend Kimberly from Pretty Over 50. She uses the light color. She's very fair. I'm dark, and she swears by it too. So I know it's good That's what she uses day to day. Other color correctors, the Charlotte Tilbury Vanish is one. Pixie has a peach one that my friend Tamara from Tamara's Timeless Beauty likes to use. And then I watch a channel from Nicole Johnson, Nikol, I believe is how she spells her name. And she is so beautiful. She's a makeup artist and she has her own makeup line. And she was doing a video talking about her own color correctors that she has in a stick, a pencil, which I thought looked really neat. And I even went on the website and put them in my cart. And I was like, I don't need $75. They're 25 each, but I was ordering them all. I don't need $75 in color correctors because I don't really have dark circles. So I am definitely the sucker for the sales pitch, but I did stop myself from buying them. The concealer comes the concealer can come whenever you want. I'm putting it underneath the foundation right now for this type of correction. And I think it works really well putting it underneath immediately. And then you can use a lighter foundation. That's just the way I like to do it. But you have to use one of those concealers that doesn't move. So this one is the Jouer concealer. This is like a forever concealer. Another long-lasting concealer is the e.l.f. Camo concealers. Those are really long-lasting, but still really full coverage. My neighbor's here. I want to buy her house, but my husband doesn't like it. Anyway, she just parked in front of my window and waved at me. Anyways, it's I lost my train of thought by waving at her. But I do put it underneath for this technique because I almost feel like when I just have the concealer on, I barely need anything. I could probably get away without any foundation at all if I wanted to. Hydrated skin, just a little bit of concealer. I feel like that's even by face out enough that I would actually feel comfortable running out like this. So the idea for me for this look is, as light and natural as possible for day to day. Okay. Yeah, so Nona's daughter, Annette, has bluish circles. Yeah, so if you have bluish circles, you want to use a peachy color corrector. And if you have purple, you can go a little bit more reddish, I think. Nicole Johnson has them. And it also goes on your skin type. So the fairer ones go like peachy and the darker skin tones use more apricot. But this one is the medium deep. I don't necessarily need it right now, but I'm going to put just a little bit under my eyes. I'm going to put it right here in my little darkest spot. So you can see it's can you tell it's peachy? I don't know if the light is washing it out. And then right here, I have some discoloration. I don't know if you can see right up here. I think this was because of my lash serum, because lash serums are known to kind of discolor your eyelids. But I think when you start with as even skin as possible, that really makes you look 10 years younger. So you can see this one is pretty light and sheer, but it does a really good job at just evening things out a little bit. I'm just going to put a little bit more and pat it in. The other thing about this Beauty Pie color corrector, and also I think the Charlotte Tilbury Vanish, Magic Vanish, and the Pixie, they're very nourishing also. So when you put a concealer or anything on top of them, it's going to keep it from looking too dry and like sucking all the moisture out of your under eye area or your eye area. Now, again, if you had really dark circles, I would go back with the concealer and maybe I'll just do a little dot in the center. to even out the eyes. But I just think the skin just looks better and healthier than having nothing on it already. Okay, so really important if you have a lot of discoloration around your nose. Now I'm actually going to take a different concealer for around my nose because this is a very full coverage concealer and I just don't want it as heavy. So I'm going to use my Tint Idol, which I also know is a good color match for me right now. I think also if you have discoloration on your nose, sometimes I will only put concealer right here, just on my nose, under my eye. And I just have one that matches my skin tone because I think, having this redness right here, it just looks so much better just removing that. So here's the, uneven skin. Here's the even skin. I mean, it just looks better in my opinion. What do you guys think? Do you guys see a difference? Am I only seeing it here? I just never know how it's coming across on the screen. But I just think this, when your skin looks younger, you look younger, compared to the more uneven skin. And I really haven't put a whole lot of makeup on. Once again, a lot of times this is all I will do. And I would be fine with it. So I don't feel like you always have to add all the makeup on. Larger pores on your nose. Well, the first step is to try and reduce your pores a little bit. So niacinamide helps pull oil out and reduce pores. So if you have, I don't know if you have that added into your skincare, that really helps. It takes a while, to maybe a couple of weeks to, for you really to see the difference, but I definitely would start doing that. And then the other thing, you can use a pore filling or blurring primer. And so, one of the most popular ones is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. You just use a teeny bit, just where you need it. And, again, you would just kind of tap it in. And I would do it before the concealer. And tap it in, and it can kind of fill in a little bit. You don't want it really thick because then it can pill and move around. But the Tatcha Silk Canvas is very similar too, but sometimes these putty primers do a really good job. The thing is that they're not going to, fill your pores or make you poreless, right? So the goal is to look better, but it's not going to completely smooth out so that you no longer have any pores, but it can help fill in a little bit so they are less noticeable, except to you when you're looking like this, and then you're like, oh, my pores look big. But to somebody that's, 4 to 6 feet away from you, it's just going to look a lot more even. All right, so the next thing, after you even out the skin tone, then you can go on in with your foundation or your tinted moisturizer. I have been using my True Match foundations. I was comparing the new and old. My shade is W6. And so because I had pulled them out, they're sitting here. I really love this. This is what I wore, 15 years before I started my YouTube channel, is the L'Oreal True Match. Another really great foundation that I like, and I like the finish, which is kind of a natural, not radiant, but still a little more, I hate to say the word dewy because then people think it's shiny, but just a little more natural, lightly dewy finish. The Wet n Wild Photo Focus, also one of my favorites. Neutrogena Healthy Skin. Love those. And then these are all medium coverage. So I usually am a medium coverage girl because I'm trying to cover all this. And then, of course, for the high end, my Dior Forever Skin Glow, my Makeup by Mario, the Chanel #1. These are all beautiful. A medium. I will tell you, for lightweight, like a tinted moisturizers, drugstore, Wet n Wild is really nice. Essence, Pretty Natural is nice. NYX Born to Glow, super lovely, very lightweight. You're going towards the more high end. You've got your Estee Lauder Futurist, Lancome Skin So Good. And then Trini London, she has her BFF cream, which is her sunscreen. It's just lightly tinted. And then she has her BFF serum. This is the one I use the most because I always use a different sunscreen. So I don't necessarily depend on my face products for sunscreen. Oh, NARS. Yeah, I love the NARS. This one is like way down. I need to rebuy this one. This NARS, the Light Reflecting Foundation, is actually one of my favorites. One of the few, that and the Dior, that I've, purchased multiple times. Okay, but today I'm going to use the Wet n Wild. And if you've kind of evened out your skin to start, you don't need a lot of product. So I am just going to take a little bit, put it on the back of my hand, and just kind of dot a little bit around. And, I've left a ton on my hand because I really feel like I don't need much. And instead of wiping and swiping, I'm more stippling to move the product around because, again, I'm only using a tiny, tiny amount. And this just does one more level of evening out the skin tone. And then I will push it in with my standout sponge, which I did wash my sponges last night. I just use soap, the liquid soap in my bathroom. So not only does it kind of push it in, it lifts off the excess. Okay, what's the other way? The other way is we're just going to put on a heavier foundation on and moisturize skin. And let's see what happens. Okay, well, they both have good coverage right now. So let's see what happens, because I actually know what happens. What happens is the hydrated side ends up staying fresh like this longer, whereas as this one kind of dries up, it'll start looking drier on the skin. But we'll just see what happens today. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the concealer on top of it. And I'm just, you know what? I think I'll use, no, I need to use the same concealer, don't I? I'm going to just put the Jouer on top. And see what happens. You know what? I'm going to still pat it in because that's what we do, right? We're trying to see if these techniques actually make a difference. Okay, so I can see a difference. Let's come in here, see if you can see a difference. This just looks like a heavier foundation, even though it's the same foundation. Can you see that here? I wish I could, do the zoom in, but even when I smile, obviously I'm going to have the wrinkles on both sides, but this one just looks, the makeup looks cakier when I'm smiling. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is lifting the brows. Now, I have a lot of eyebrows. I know a lot of women my age don't have a lot of eyebrows. How do I spell that? Which one? The Trini London? I'm not sure. You said, how do I spell that? But I don't know what I saw it too late, so I don't know what I just said. Okay. So I'm not going to advocate. I have a lot of brows. So most people, most of my friends, and I'll just do that way, they don't. They're starting to thin. They're starting to lose their tails. I still have really long tails. I'm not advocating someone like me to pluck your brows, but I actually would do better with shorter tails. And only because the tails are too long, it draws your eyes down, and my eyelids are already drooping. It's already coming down here. So I don't need visually my brows to go down. Now, having said that, I'm not advocating cutting off your brows here or doing that, but I actually do get a lot of brow hair still, going way down. And part of that I do attribute to using that lash serum. The flip side is it discolors your lids, but it did for me bring back more facial hair. Okay, but if you have to draw your own brows in, I pulled out the ones there and I didn't mean to do it, but the key is not to go all the way down. So the old rule, or the rule of the thumb, is from here to here, right? So I would want my brows to come longer, but I like it more uplifted. So I like it from the corner of my mouth to the eye, which is actually kind of where mine stop here. So that's where I'm going to just kind of emphasize, and then I just need to fill in right here for me. And I'm going to brush it, soften it up. All right, so the wrong way, or the old way, I can't say it's the wrong way. It really depends on your face shape, right? But the old way would be to bring it down lower. Okay, see, you definitely can see a difference on the brow. But the key is, does it, visually pull your eyes up? Well, I definitely think it does, but I think it really, maybe I'm looking for it, but I think it pulls the eyes up. So instead of going from your nose to the end, take it from the mouth to the end, and that gives a little more lift. And it's really simple to do. Okay, next, contour face. I was so glad I really wasn't into makeup during that whole heavy contour phase. But there is something to be said for lifting your face with a little bit of contour. So I'm going to actually use my Rare Beauty contour stick. Oh, it's a bronzing stick. I'm going to use it as contour. Elf makes one also. And the key is you're going to put it underneath your bone, but you don't want it too low. So I'm not going to try and contour way down here, but I don't want it too high either. So I'm going to feel my bone and kind of go up, because the whole thing, we want this upward motion. Now, when you watch a lot of makeup videos, they talk about doing it here and up here. Oh, they definitely talk about here, which I do think that one's important. I got my little jowl right there. And let's blend it out or blend it in. Trying to keep it in place. Use my fingers. I love my fingers. People say don't use your fingers, but I really find it really good for blending out those edges or, taking off the, harshness. Oh, I'm not supposed to make that. You're not supposed to make that pucker lip, right? Because then it makes your lines go a little bit deeper. Okay. Well, the next step, because I think I blended it out too low, is to clean it up with your concealer. And even, I was trying to do a little highlighting. I don't want to use something too light though. All right, so I've got it on. I think it kind of looks a little low. So, oh, that's too dark. Sorry. Okay. Do I not have a concealer? I know I have concealers that are too light because I have a bajillion concealers. I'll try this one. My airbrush, my beach. Let's see what happens if you do the. Have you guys seen this where they kind of highlight the jawline? Again, my fingers tend to be faster. I mean, I guess I could use a sponge. Ooh, that really pulled up that cheekbone. Did you guys notice that? I wish I did a before and after. But it's a terrible color, right? But that really did pull that cheekbone up from it actually being too messy. So I just used a lighter concealer right underneath. All right, now I need to blend it back in though with some foundation. I know I have a foundation brush. Okay, I will just use a clean foundation. Oh no, here it is. I put it back in my clean brushes. That's what happened. Okay, what happens when I just go over it lightly to kind of tone down the whiteness. Yeah, I am. I am pretty. I really liked how that cleaned that off. So I normally don't do that. So let's do this like I normally do it. Okay. I really feel like I normally don't put it that low, but maybe I do, and I'm just over analyzing it now because I put it where I normally put my streak. I'm not trying to do a bad side, like to make it so horrible. I'm going to tip a little bit more. But I do think maybe it's not even the bronzer that's so miraculous for lifting, but it's the actual concealer underneath that's so miraculous for lifting the cheekbones and kind of uh, brightening and lightening up that area. Okay, so that's my face contour. The other thing that you can do, of course, is do the lighter concealer kind of going like this. And that also will bring a lift. I will wait till after I do my eyeshadow before I do any kind of lifting like that. But let's try and lift with the eyeliner. Now, lately, I have been using liquid eyeliner just at the base of my lashes, trying to be real thin. And I've really liked it. But if I'm going to try and do like a lift, like a little kind of wing lift, I'm not going to try it with a liquid eyeliner because I'm going to make a mess and ruin everything. So I'm going to do it with an eye pencil. I really love the Charlotte Tilbury or the Makeup by Mario's for eyeliner because they are creamy going on, but once they dry down and set, they like set forever. Some other options, not quite as good, but yeah, actually that's not one, is the Rimmel Scandalize. It's kind of hard to find this, but this is really creamy. It's almost too creamy putting it on, so you have to be really careful. But once it sets down, it doesn't move at all. And the Revlon Color Stay is pretty good too. So that's another liner that when it sets. Oh, CoverGirl. CoverGirl has a good liner too that when it sets, it seems to move or not move around. But I'm going to use my Charlotte Tilbury because this is the one I use every day. You can tell it's almost gone. This is, I think you have to buy this one on her website. It's a duo. It's called the Nudes. This is my favorite brown. I wish she had it in a single, but she doesn't because I hate to have to buy a double again just to get more of my favorite brown. But to do the eyeliner lift, what you're going to do, I'll come in close, and you're going to take it right at the base of the lashes. Turn this way so I can see. Right at the base of the lashes. Oh, I forgot to set my concealer on my lids. You should always set your concealer on your lids with powder because it did move. And because this skin is moving and overlapping, you do want to set it. So I am going to, do I have some setting powder here? Oh, here. I've got my little Kosas setting powder. It's really lightweight. And I'm going to just set the lid. Yeah. And I should have done under the eyes too. Just a real light, teeny bit. I'll do the other side too. I mean, you can't really judge your concealers and everything if it doesn't move at all, if you don't really set it properly, because some of the creamier concealers really are better as far as not looking as dry or anything, but they may move unless you apply them properly. Okay, so going back here, applying it right at the base. And then when I get to right about that outer third of my eye, I'm going to go out instead of down. You see that? Now, honestly, I've seen this a lot where you do it with a little brush and powder eyeshadow first, and then you go over it with your eyeliner because that it's easier to correct with the powder shadow, and then you can, when you go over with the eyeliner, then it really kind of locks it down. I'm just going to blend it out with this little brush. I really need two hands. So one thing that happens, of course, is our skin gets lumps and bumps and all kinds of things here. So then what I'm going to do, and I need to hold it up. Then I'm going to kind of fill it in and take it down. Now I will say, I just sharpened this. Now it seems to come off. It feels less creamy. I think as I'm getting towards the end, it's kind of drying up a little bit. Because normally it kind of glided on, and now I feel like it's pulling. But we're just going to do that little eye lift. You're not going to take it to the outer edge. You know, see how I stopped it? I didn't take it the outer edge. One, because my skin is leaning down. But I want it to blend it all the way down to the lash line. So we're just doing that little lift. And on this eye, I'm just going to take it all the way to the outer edge. Do my normal application. Yeah, this eyeshadow pencil has really dried up. All right, and then, you know, I do like to put my eyeshadow, my eyeliner underneath. Blend it out. And then here, oops, I'm going to put it underneath too, but I'm just going to put it on that outer third. Doesn't look a whole lot different. I tried to clean up all my old mascara that's left under my eyes, but I feel like there is still some left. So I did it the outer third. I still have some old, I think, liner and mascara that makes it look like I have liner on the inside. But there is the difference. I feel like okay, is it drawing my eyes up? I don't know. It's hard for me to tell. Oops, I can't see with it. I think from when I go from the side, it definitely draws the eyes up, you know, versus from the side. Looking straight on, well, it's hard to tell too, because this eye is a little droopier. I kind of lift my brow a little bit to make it more the same size, because this is naturally a droopier eye. I think it kind of draws the eyes up. Ooh, Connie got her Sephora box. You stab your eye every time you try and blend. Yeah, I mean, this is an old Wayne Goss brush. I like my little rougher brushes better. Even though they're bigger, they're just softer. So I don't know why I didn't use that. It actually blends better. And then you stab yourself, it doesn't hurt quite as much. Okay, so that's kind of like the little winged lift. You can go over it again with some eyeshadow to accentuate that a little bit more. In fact, let's do that. Eyeshadow. All this, and where's my eyeshadow? All right, I'm just going to grab the one I was using. Oops, trip, fall. I'm back. I have all this makeup on the floor right here, and then I still forgot eyeshadow. Okay. I don't wear a lot of eyeshadow or do a lot of different things. I take that back. I do usually wear eyeshadow, but I'm pretty simple with taking a single color and putting it across my lid. I like it light and I like a hint of shimmer. And then I'm not going to take it past where my little lifted eyeliner is. And then I'm just going to flip my brush. This is the Refer 33. They might still be 40% off on the Refer website. Hopefully this one isn't sold out. And then again, I'm just going to go kind of keeping it inside where my little lifted area. Oh, I love these eyeshadows. And I didn't get a chance to talk about them later. When I went to bed at night, my eyeshadow was still beautiful. Maybe not quite as vibrant, but still amazing. And, you know, just that nice hint of shimmer. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't like shimmer on your eyes, and I think it really would depend on yeah, it really would depend on your texture of your eyes. And I do have texture on my eyes. I mean, if you go up close, you can see I've got texture on it, but I think the effect of drawing somebody's eyes to that shimmer and everything is more useful than, you know, trying to hide the texture. Like the texture doesn't bother me. I think that's more important. Okay, well, on the other side, I almost feel like I would be doing the same thing on the other side. My technique has not really changed for that. What would be a technique that would could potentially draw the eyes down? I'm going to do the darker transition in the crease. Bring it to the end. And then I'll use a more matte shade. And blend it. Okay, let's clean them both up. Okay, it's not really a true, let me try and blend it out. I normally wouldn't wear it like that. I want it to be a somewhat believable left or right. Okay, but see, I think just having that shimmer, I mean, gosh, it looks like I have so much more eyelid than using a matte for me. I mean, it makes it look like I've got, you know, I've got the hooded eyes. It really makes it look like I have the eyelid. Oh yeah, this is the Rare Beauty. It's her new one. It's called Give Yourself Grace. I am so in love with this palette. Even though I probably never would wear this center color because it's so glittery, it's like a creamy glitter. It's, I don't know, if you wore that really super shiny shimmer, I'm going to just swatch it again because I think it's so amazing. Look at this. If you wore this tight, oh my gosh, look at that. And it blends like that. It doesn't like flake off. I mean, that's not me, but boy, I love it. But the shimmers, they're so subtle on the sides. Yeah. So putting the shimmer on the lid, just a light color, I think is a lot more eye-opening than trying to do like mattes, flat mattes, because it makes you look like you have a nice big lid. Obviously, if you have, if you're trying to minimize your lid, you're probably better off with the matte. Okay. All right. Curl lashes, of course, that's a given. Curl my lashes on one side, don't curl them on the other. Put my mascara on. Using my Refer curler. Everyone knows that watched my channel before how much I love my Refer curler. Same website as the eyeshadow brushes. 40% off right now because it's slightly wider, but that slight um, amount is enough to make it that I get all of my eyelashes in one fell swoop. Okay, non-curled side. Now I know some of you with glasses or sensitive eyes can't wear mascara, but I think even just curling your lashes can make a big difference with the glasses. And when you curl them, if you aren't familiar with curling your lashes, you want to get it as close to the base as possible because you really want as much of the lash as possible going up. Okay. Yeah, I really think the biggest difference besides doing this like white bit here is the light shimmer on the eyelid. I mean, that is a humongous difference, I think. Okay. Oh, but this next technique I think is really good too. I've talked about it before. It's not my technique. I first saw it on Lisa Eldridge, and it is the kind of lip facelift. Okay, so I've had a resting B face all my life, right? And if you're wondering what the B is, it will rhymes with itch. Okay, so I've had the resting B face all my life. And as I am getting older, this is coming down a little bit more, and it even is more pronounced when I'm not mad or angry or whatever, just doing nothing. It tends to look like I'm frowning, especially if I'm wearing darker lip colors. So this technique is to kind of turn your lips around and you're going to redraw your lips. Now, one of the key things is not to take it all the way out to the edges because that tends to, again, emphasize the downturn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a pencil. This is a Charlotte Tilbury. It's her eye cheat. I think she's supposed to use it on the rims of your eyes, but it is a nude color pencil. It's way too light for me. I think NYX has a primer. Oh yeah, NYX has a kind of primer pencil like this. It's also a nude color pencil. You could also use a concealer like the Jouer concealer, one that doesn't move. And I'm going to actually color in, get rid of my lip line. See, I'm going to create a new lip line. So I'm going to get rid of the old one, kind of blend it just a teeny bit. Really get in that corner. Then I'm going to draw a new lip line. So I'm just going to draw it over my whole mouth. This is a BK Beauty lip liner in Sweet Pea. It's one of those really long lasting ones that even with you eat or do anything like that, it stays on. Lisa Eldridge also has some amazing ones. And I think it's the Revlon Color Stay is also really good. So up at the top, I'm going to go just a little bit on the upper edge of my lips. Now, I don't have super thin lips. They're deflated though, so they're getting a little wrinkly. But they're not, really thin yet. Um, and then once I do the top, I'm going to come down and I'm going to kind of go inside the lip line and kind of lift it up. And I'm not going to go all the way in the corner. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to meet that new line. Take it down underneath. Now I'm going to color it in. And then here, I'm just going to do right on my lip line. So then you're going to just take your little concealer and or foundation or whatever and blend in oops. Okay, I really should be using a lip brush. Okay. All right. Once again, this isn't a lip brush. This is an eyeshadow brush. This is a smudge brush. In case you're like, what lip brush are you using? I have a Sigma one, which I love, but I don't know where it is. All right, go back again. Oh, let's put some lipstick on top of that. How about that? I'll use this Merit one. Okay. So by shortening the area, now if I had my lip brush, I would get in there and make sure that that line right there is actually matches my skin tone. But in general, the lip that goes down versus the lip that tends to look like it stops right here. Let me relax. I don't know if you can see it. I can really see it when I have a dark lipstick on. And I think oh, good. Somebody sees the difference. Emma sees the difference. You know, you sometimes do all this stuff and you're like, okay, am I imagining it? Am I trying to make myself see it? But when I'm wearing a dark lipstick, like a red or evening, I definitely do it. I don't want to bring that lipstick into my corners because that's all I see is that dark lip going down. Okay. And then I forgot, as I tend to do, blush. Because usually once I have my little contour on, I forget about blush. So I'm going to just use a little bit. These are all cream. I'm going to use a powder blush. I'm going to use my Wayne Goss in Poppy, which is my favorite. I mean, this blush will never go away. It's such a big palette. I mean, it's humongous. Let me get a blush brush. Just use this one. So blush, again, and this is nothing really new, but you're going to put it up high on the cheekbone. You don't want to bring it down. You don't want to smile and apply it. I'll smile and apply it on this side. Because when you unsmile, it drops down too low. Now, having said that, I actually like to put blush up here, but I don't smile doing it. I put it right under my eye like that. So the smile cheekbone thing doesn't work when your face is fallen. Okay. Now, to powder or to not powder. A lot of times I've not been powdering at all now. If you have a little bit more oily skin, you're going to need to. Obviously, I did powder around the eyes to set the concealer, but I kind of like this more natural look. So, anyways, let's just take a peek. So, did I give myself a facelift? I mean, I definitely tried not to overdo or underdo or over exaggerate the bad side. I mean, in fact, this is how I do wear my makeup a lot, but just the little changes, I think can do a big lift. Loving this, loving this, loving the light concealer. And I really love, seeing side by side the difference of that little bit of shimmer on my lid. You don't want glitter. You just want just a subtle shimmer. Oh, good. Everybody's seeing it. Okay, well, that's it. Let's see how long this took. It still took an hour. I cannot do a live under an hour. I apologize. But yeah, I think I accomplished and went over everything. I have my little notes here, made sure I talked about all the techniques that I wanted to try out in front of you. Nothing difficult, nothing that the average person can't do, nothing that requires you to be a professional makeup artist or anything like that to figure out how to do that little bit of contouring or anything. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. I definitely really love these two things. Love those two things. But I think everything, even the lip lift, which I know really makes a difference for me. The eyebrow being a little bit shorter, the blush placement, but we kind of all knew that, right? I mean, who hasn't heard not to put it down here on, on your apples anymore? Smile. I did apply mascara. I just used the Beyond mascara right after curl my lashes. I did, and the one thing for me is I need a thickening mascara now, and I did buy a primer. I like mascaras that thicken with one coat. So I used that Lights Camera Action by Tarte yesterday, and I love the way my lashes looked, and it didn't flake or do anything. Um, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is such a great mascara, but it's right here. It took two coats. So I don't reach for it because I'm always in a rush and I just want the one coat. This is the City Beauty Beyond mascara. Maybelline, their Lash Effects Volumizing is a one coat mascara for me. Those are the two that I reach for the most, actually. But this Lights Camera Lashes was beautiful if you don't mind taking the extra 30 seconds to put on that second coat. It really isn't that much longer, but this one really was beautiful too. And this is a trial size here. This is the one my girlfriend who had very sensitive eyes. She said this was one that didn't bother her eyes. She took a picture of it and sent it to me because I was like, anybody have sensitive eyes? And what mascara do you like? And she was like, I cannot wear any mascara except for this one. So you might want to try it if you have super sensitive eyes and see how it works. Oh, thank you, Cynthia. Okay. All right. Well, I think now that we've been here for an hour, thanks for all of you that have stuck by me for this. That's all I have. Does anyone have any questions for me? Let's see if there are any questions. You can also put them down in the comments below. I do read every comment, and I do reply to every comment, or at least heart the comment, so I acknowledge that I did read it. So if there is nothing for me, probably in the next day or two, I will put a list of links for all the products that I used today down in the description box. But if there's nothing for me, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye. Oh, thanks, Tina. Tina said both sides looked good. Yeah, just different, right? One's lifted. I mean, bye-bye.